Greetings comic lovers, and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old, to history, to anecdotes, to really wherever our whims take us. You all enjoyed hearing about the confusing history of the Huntress, so I figured why not go back to the start, the first introduction of Helena Wayne. She had two comics that introduced her, each coming out on the same day, but I decided to focus on the one that highlighted her origin, since origins can end up being such an integral part of a character. I'm excited and ready, and I hope you are too. But before we get started, please do subscribe. We're growing and it's so fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me on this crazy comic journey. All comics, all the time. So Helena Wayne, aka the Huntress, was commissioned because DC felt that Earth 2's JSA team needed a Batgirl-style hero. This was since Batgirl was proving to be such a hit in the main verse, Earth 1. And DC in the late 70s was very much in the mode of just throwing anything at the wall and seeing what would stick. There are a lot of comics from this era that just appear and then disappear. This includes the comic that the Huntress debuted in. We're going to be looking at DC Superstars number 17. DC Superstars was a comic that ran from 1976 to 1978 and had 18 issues total, so this was the second last one, and for most of its run, this comic was a reprint magazine. It is most famous for being the comic to introduce the Huntress. No lies detected, and yet it was collected in trade, which is good news for collectors everywhere, and me. Send help. With our history laid out, let's take a look. And of course, if you missed our in-depth dive into the Huntress and her many backstories, then please check that out, and of course click the card or the link will be down below. The cover is baity, but in a fun way. It features the characters from the rehash stories bursting in on the Huntress, all la gasp, who is this? As the cover proclaims, DC's newest femme fatale, the Huntress. We challenge you to guess her incredible secret. Challenge accepted. It's not cheating, I just happen to know the answer. They weren't prepared for people from the future. This must be how Booster Gold feels all the time. I also just really need to tell you that the first story in this is a retelling of Green Arrow's origin. Did you know that he was trapped alone on an island? Because I did, and if I hear it one more time, I'm sending him back there. So the Huntress's story is the last story in this book, starting on page 32. For those of you following along at home, I feel like a teacher. All right, class, get ready to learn about the multiverse. So we have our creators, Paul Levitz, Joe Stanton, and Bob Layton. We open on a panel of Bruce marrying Selina, because it's 1977, so people are allowed to get married, at least on another Earth. The next page is just the comic explaining that everything is happening on Earth 2. I always do that, put up 2 for the parallel. It's 2. On this Earth, Catwoman ended up turning herself in and serving a prison term, and when Bruce saw that, he waited for her, and when she was released, swooped in and married her. There are times in a man's life that seem to flow past too quickly to be real. They are the dreaming years, the happy years. Stop it. I can sense tragedy. It's a sixth sense. Also, that makes me feel old. Stop talking and pontificating on age. Don't make me feel the passage of time, Earth 2. We then see Bruce's life in hyperspeed. Him marrying Selina, having a baby, turning from socialite to social activist. Robin strikes out on his own with no drama. And since Bruce already has a kid, he doesn't need to adopt a tirejacker. It's all going well. He's achieved peak happiness. He's also gone full rich person. He's at home playing backgammon. I can never say that word, backgammon. Backgammon. I've played this game with my dad. Does that mean we're secretly rich? Is he Batman? The happiness ends when Selina gets a mysterious phone call. It's one of her old henchmen who just got out of prison, Silky Cernak. I love the caption box and how they treat this reveal like, oh no! But I refuse to be menaced by anyone named Silky. But he's here to blackmail her. I wasn't kidding when I told you to save your marriage by coming here. Everybody knows how Wayne only got hitched to you because you were reformed and because you never killed anybody. Or so you told him. Dun dun dun! He's got a picture of a guy on the ground with some cat o' nine tails kinda on him. Oh no, he's dead. Allegedly. Okay, Silky, sorry to interrupt your dramatic blackmail, but I, as always, have runaway queries. Bruce is Batman. Selina knows this, and he married her knowing she had a past, so why should this work? She should just be able to tell him, I'm being blackmailed, and he can go full Batman on the guy. 2, this also allegedly happened years ago, so what kind of monster does this comic want us to believe that Bruce is? Like, if she just went home and was like, years ago when I was a criminal, someone accidentally died, is he supposed to have the divorce papers waiting in the desk and her bag packed? Just like, sayonara, honey. Oh, sorry. Sayonara, honey. Like all their time together just meant nothing? Earth 2 does not think a lot of Bruce if that is the logic. One more job, but only to spare Bruce the hurt. No, Selina. Also, which is more hurtful? Him finding out about this photo, or finding out that after years of marriage and an allegedly happy life, you don't trust him enough to tell him things. I don't know. I know it would hurt me more. But what do I know? I'm just a pleb from Earth Prime. That night, the bat signal goes off. Dad, the bat signal. The commissioner is calling Robin. He not only never became Nightwing on Earth 2, but he didn't even get his own signal. That's fantastic.
You're right, dear. And since Dick is on foreign service duty in Madagascar, that means it's time for me to come out of semi-retirement.
What? Where can I read that? I want to know more. What's he doing in Madagascar? I have questions. Batman, of course, gets the tip for the crime that Selina is on her way to commit, and so he takes off. Also, I love that Selina's henchmen used to wear literal catsuits. How much did she pay, or was it more a question of finally a chance to wear my catsuit?
Batman, you're supposed to be retired.
And yet, there's still a bat signal. Pause a moment, reader, and pity this man. Don't tell me what to do. He is a good man, one of the best, and he is doing his duty. Batman plunges in and goes to deflect the gun from Silky's hand, so of course, you know what's gonna happen, especially if you watched X-Men First Class. Deflect right into Selina.
My God, Selina, it's you, here.
Forgive me, darling, I only did it for it. No, I don't forgive you. None of this had to happen. It's called communication. This breaks Bruce and he hangs up his cape forever, and it's actually really sad and really depressing. Even the grim figure of his daughter supporting him like a crutch can do nothing to stop his head from sagging forward and his soul from wishing for the restful peace of the grave. While Bruce is breaking down, Helena's getting fired up. She's her father's daughter. Dead parent, it's time to go full vigilante. And so we get a reveal of her as the Huntress on page 43 as she vows to avenge her mother's death and bring criminals to justice. It's also shown she casts a shadow reminiscent of Batman's. She begins her manhunt, looking for Silky Cernak, who she knows to look for. We're gonna go with because she's the daughter of the world's greatest detective, and I'm not just saying that, the comic says that. We also get to see her soon-to-be famous crossbow in action, and it is cool. She manages to track Silky to Gotham Harbor, and she engages him first in a very Batman-like way without saying anything, but then she cracks and starts laying into him. He's gonna pay for what he did. He decides he may as well try his luck in a mini monologue, and reveals that the photos were fake. So Selina had never even killed anybody, which adds a whole other frustrating layer of it being unnecessary that she died. Pointless death was pointless, except as fodder for Helena. It happens to everybody, I'm telling you. As soon as you get placed into that arena of side character, just take out some life insurance. See, if she'd just taken that photo to her husband, Mr. World's Greatest Detective, he could have run it through the back computer and been like, oh honey, it's photoshopped. Huntress defeats him and takes him to the police station, leaving him set up in a net. The next morning, as Bruce and Helena go to visit the police headquarters for reasons, it says they're wrapping up business. What business? I don't know. Plot, convenience, flimsy business. Bruce assumes it's Dick, back from Madagascar, revealing that nobody in the Wayne family tells each other anything. Because she hasn't told her father that she's the Huntress. Maybe it wasn't Richard Daddy. I have a feeling it was someone else. Someone new. Whoever it was, I have a feeling they're here to stay. Now, I get that he's sad because his wife just died and he inadvertently killed her, so that's very depressing, yes. But at the same time, he has also raised a vigilante in this timeline and raised her alongside of him, so I have a hard time believing he would be disappointed. Otherwise, does that imply that it's okay for the kids he adopts, but not his own kid? That just opens a whole can, but I mean, I guess, wait a week. I mean, he's clearly fragile. He has the Reed Richards hair streaks going on, a full band in the back. It's dangerous. So that was the introduction of Helena Wayne, the heroic Huntress. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers here. This is because I'm gonna say it was just okay, and Helena is way cooler than the origin itself. The idea of Bruce and Selina having a kid who becomes a hero is a fun one, a nice expansion on the lore. Doing it on Earth 2 means that you also don't really bother people who are enjoying the Earth 1 continuity, because that can still continue on. It's a smart play, not messing too much with that status quo. But when you learn that she was a character designed as per request and you look at the story, it does make sense. She does seem a little bit like she was created by committee, and that's not a bad thing. It just shows through in her origin. Although part of that is most likely hindsight or hindsight bias, or just the period in time where I'm coming from as a comic fan, because everybody starts at a different time. So I have a very different relationship with this time period than people who grew up reading it. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Neither. It's just a thing. Her actual adventures fare far better, and she gets to be showcased, because here she's barely in it. She doesn't even get to be the Huntress until the last couple of pages. And the rest of the time, she's just kinda there. I mean, she plays backgammon. I said it. Yes. While setting up a slight paralleling in her origin to her father's makes sense, it's not handled as smoothly as it could be. Now, killing Selena off as a motivating factor is not the worst idea out there. And when they repeat her history years later in the New 52, they're gonna get way more intense. Both parents on the ground, bleeding out because edgy. But the execution here is far from seamless and makes Selena seem ineffectual and her marriage to Bruce flimsy, especially since she didn't even kill the person, which removes a lot of the drama in my opinion, although for others it will ramp it up. It's a tragedy. I used to think my life is a tragedy. Now I realized it's an origin story. What it does do though is spend a lot of time making you feel bad for Bruce and Selena, and then it's like, oh, Helena, feel bad conceptually. And for some people, that's gonna work, and for others, it isn't. The other factor here is that now you have the newer reader perspective, the knowledge that there is a Helena Bertinelli. More than one at this point, really, because they're so different. Her 2000 onwards origin may to some prove to be more concise, even though for fans of Wayne's origin, they claim that this newer origin just reduces her down to just another vigilante with someone to punish, while they feel that this other backstory is more rich with history. A lot of the attachment to Helena Wayne comes from that legacy aspect, and how she fit in with all of the other legacy characters, which makes sense. However, her origin itself, aside from being a biological legacy character, is not the strongest. That doesn't make her a bad or not strong character, far from it. Her origin actually sounds better if you just describe it Cliff Notes version. Like she's avenging her mom who was killed and carrying on for her dad who just can't carry on the legacy anymore. It works on a visceral level, and I get why people are attached to it. Having characters you like be changed because of a reboot is never fun. It's okay, she had a much stronger showing in that other comic that came out the same day. But tell me all of your thoughts down below. Did you love Earth 2? Are you all for stories happening on different Earths? How sick do I sound? If you love this origin, disagree and tell me why. I'd love to hear it. I love to hear what people like about stories. This is a space to chat about our shared love of comics. We don't all have to like the same things. It's fine. Thumbs up. I'm Sasha, and thanks so much for watching Casually Comics. Please do all the YouTube things: like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for giving me some of your time, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.